It's happening on the fly, Austin. This is real time.
I love it. What's your last name, Jessica?
McMillan.
McMillan.
McLovin.
McMillan.
Did they ever call you McLovin in high
Yeah.
school? You got
Yeah,
that?
I played softball on a league, and my name was McLovin.
Yeah.
It was like an adult softball league.
There you go.
Yeah,
I like it.
for work. They call me McLovin.
This is Austin Keating. Oh, I'll start again.
Sorry.
McLovin, chill.
Okay.
Cool your jets.
This is Austin Keating with Snips News and ACHR News. With me today is Tony Petrosian. He's the president of Rossi, and also with him is Jess McMillan, head of business development at Rossi. Thanks for joining me today.
Thank you for having us, Austin. What's up, SMACNA?
Hey, Austin.
Let's just start it off from the top. What's Rossi's and SMACNA's relationship?
Nice question. Relationship. I like that. I mean, look, SMACNA and Rossi go back quite a ways. I got to sort of think back to maybe when the convention was, when we first did the convention. I don't know. Jessica, this is going to be your first SMACNA convention with us. Are you excited about that?
Yeah, I'm very excited. I've got a whole week's worth of planning set up.
So we go back with SMACNA in this regard. I would say, Austin, that part of the core fabric of Rossi has been to listen to the market, to listen to what the guys out there need. Like, you're in a sheet metal shop, you're making spiral, you're making TYs, you're making fittings, you're making sheet metal, heatos. What is it that you need? What duct hardware works best for you? Like, what's an innovation you'd like to see? And we've really listened. And SMACNA members from day one, I would say, have been like instrumental in giving us key market data. Like, hey, here's what's going on. Here's what the balancing guys are saying. We really need hardware that we love your hardware, but could it also do this? And we've sort of had ear to the ground. SMACNA conventions have been key for that, to really like have the people from Stamped Fittings, from Northeastern Sheet Metal, from DuctMate, from GSI, for all of our friends from all over the industry. I mean, if I start naming SMACNA members, it's going to be the entire podcast. But all of the Strymer and Mina and all of them, they had really good insights. Like, I'd like a bushing that a little bit more does this, or like, hey, we love your locking regulator. Could you maybe add this feature and this and that? And like, we've kind of taken that input through our designers. The lead designer is my father. He's the reason we're all sitting here, is because he just designs this cool stuff. But also our engineering team with CAD designers and 3D and all that, taking any insight we can from the market. Shout out Phil Rivas. I mean, he was one of the first to like be at our booth, but specific feedback from all these people has gone into our design, into our innovations, and that's why we iterate. Every couple of years we come out with a new product and a new version, and SMACNA has been key to that for us.
And generally, can we just get like a brief overview of what products you offer SMACNA members?
Yeah, so like SMACNA members, I know you guys well because I come from the sheet metal world. Like, when I was growing up, we used to have a sheet metal fabrication shop, so we were making ductwork, and that's what my family's been involved in forever. And so I think we have a pretty good understanding of the duct work world and the sheet metal fabrication world. I just remember literally, Austin, before I get into SMACNA members, like, when I was young, I was like 13 or 14, I was crawling through like 50-inch diameter spiral pipe in the shop and stuff like that. And I remember my dad, who is now at this time running a sheet metal shop. Mm-hmm. Have you ever been inside? You know what these sheet metal shops are like. And well, Jessica, because you talk to a lot of SMACNA members.
Yeah.
By the way, a lot of you have heard from her. By the time this podcast airs, you're probably listening going, oh, yeah, I know Jessica. She reached out to me. Because
I'm taking the feedback and bringing it back to our engineers. And
100%. Yeah. And I was going to say, like, I think what we offer SMACNA members, makes me think back to way back, decades ago now, to hearing my dad go, I hate this damper hardware. This stuff sucks. There's got to be a better way. And he's like a mechanical engineer by training. So he's like drawing stuff. I remember being at home looking on the kitchen table and seeing his hand sketches of what are now continuous bar blades. That all started way back in the kitchen table with him running a sheet metal shop and going, I don't like assembling this damper hardware. It takes too long. I got to rivet this and drill this and put a hole and bolt this and all that. There's got to be a better way. And then creating the continuous bar blades. So that's kind of how it began. And but for SMACNA members specifically, all of our duct hardware is designed from that point of view of, hey, I'm running a duct shop.
Yeah.
Here's how I do stuff all day. I start at 5 a.m. I end at 3, and this is what we're doing all day long. How can this duct hardware be better for my process? And that's why our bushings snap in. And we can get into that when Jessica calls you guys. But those are the innovations. It's the continuous bar blades. It's those bushings that snap in during assembly. It's how the whole thing fits together. And then, of course, sort of the keystone of it all, the regulators which drive the airflow regulation. It was a SMACNA member, Ductmate, Green Seam Industries. I think it might have even been Ductmate, more the mother company, that way decades ago saw our twist lock regulator. And it was that SMACNA member that took such a huge interest and really became a supporter of the product, helped to use the product to differentiate their own fittings and their pipes. And shout out Jason Kroljak. These are the guys who, as SMACNA, I think saw the benefits of the hardware and adopted it earlier on. And certainly now so many more SMACNA companies have followed that lead and have come on board and been part of the Rossi family. So I think we owe a ton to SMACNA. So the chance to exhibit is kind of just a chance to see everybody face to face.
So from small to medium-sized members, maybe even some large shops, like what does a typical journey look like for you?
Jess, you want to take that? What do we see usually with that?
I mean, some of our biggest customers, their profits are between 1 million and 100 million. So it's a huge range of size businesses that work with Rossi, but typically we'll see it gets spec'd on a job and they'll order a certain amount of our parts, and then slowly but surely they start using it more and more and more, and then they shift their whole shop over to Rossi.
Yep. I mean, look, SMACNA members out there, are you one of the companies that has seen a specification come across your door?
Yeah.
Because I usually get those phone calls. It's like, hey, I haven't tried Rossi before, but looks like I got to use it on this whatever NASA project or JPL, or recently it was an MIT, the new wing at MIT. So really, really high-tech, cutting-edge places.
Or like a government job.
Government jobs.
Yeah.
Where the engineers are really paying attention, and they're really clued into like, what can I do that's better? It goes back to there's got to be a better way. And then they say, okay, they specify, you got to put Rossi hardware on this duct hardware, on this damper hardware. We get that phone call. And so like that can begin a relationship with a SMACNA company.
Yeah.
Maybe they're small, maybe they're large, maybe they're...
Or sometimes I'll have a foreman email me and he'll say he saw the Rossi part and he wants to get it put in the shop. So it happens all sorts of ways that they find us, but
isn't it interesting? And I guess we're still wrapping our heads around how the size of the company doesn't necessarily go hand in hand with the size of the business we do with them. Like Jessica mentioned, 100 million. I know there's a couple that are way over that, even in the billion revenue range. But then there's some that are literally just over $1 million. Just a mom and pop sheet metal shop, like pumping out fittings.
But they're differentiating themselves in the market with that part. So
well, they're saving time in assembly, truthfully, in their in-house. And then also there's so many downstream effects. Like then the TAB guy who goes to use the stuff on the project's like, oh, how cool are these regulators? I get to set so much more precisely. And They don't have wing. The whole point, this. Everybody's heard me talk about no more wing nuts. I don't want to beat that dead horse. I feel like we've talked about that a lot. But it was one of the origins of all this hardware. So if you're a SMACNA shop, I'm sure some of you are still seeing wing nuts because it's still a big part of the industry that puts those wing nuts on there. And I get it. They're cheap. They're semi-effective.
They were invented 100 years ago.
No, I think more. When were wing nuts invented? Austin, take a guess. When do you think the wing nut was invented?
I'm gonna guess 1950 something. I don't know.
I swear it's
Probably older.
It's 1850 to 1880 roughly. I want to say somebody's going to Google this.
It's old technology.
It's like 1880 something in the London Patent Office in the UK where somebody has this. It's a pretty cool idea. Can we give a little bit of credit to the wing nut? I mean, I'm out there bashing wing nuts all day long.
They walked so we could run. Yeah.
Should that be the new tagline for Rossi?
Yeah.
I'm into it.
The patent is 1932.
The patent. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Split the difference. I'm
There
with
you
you
go.
there. That might be the U.S. patent. Was there like who cares? We don't have to get into it. It's pretty old. It's coming up on 100 years at least.
It's time.
Yeah.
So yeah, back to SMACNA members. I mean, I'm sure there's a significant number of sheet metal shops that find it very easy to put to wingnut hardware on there. It's why change it? This is how we've always done it. But that's where we come in and say, no, they rattle loose. They throw off the air balance. That causes downstream costs and headaches that are hard to calculate. The air balance of a massive high rise or a NASA project or an apartment building or a school or a prison, the air balance gets thrown off and you don't know where or why, and it's because a wingnut rattled loose somewhere. Let's not do that. There's a better way.
And you mentioned tab specialists or testing and balancing specialists. That's also SMACNA members too. So every time we go to a SMACNA convention, they dedicate a lot of time to testing and balancing, even more so these days. So do you see that as someone who's on your side?
We love them. Do you like test and balancing, guys?
Absolutely. We get to, talk about geek out about everything. Same with engineers.
It's a different conversation with test and balancing,
Yeah.
guys, because we're instead of talking about the wing nuts rattle loose and they throw off the airflow, it's getting way more specific. It's saying hey, with this locking regulator, you're going to get plus or minus, 5 to 10 CFM per station on a 3-inch water gauge, 8-inch diameter spiral pipe. It's that we can get that technical with a TAB guy. And we really like to dive into their world with them. Hey, TAB guys, Jessica, you ready to talk to them at our booth at the product show?
Yeah, I'm ready to geek out.
Do you know that that's early?
How early? Oh, 7 a.m.
It's like 6:45 a.m.
We're there.
Breakfast, coffee, product. But it goes to 11. But TAB guys, Tuesday morning at the SMACNA convention, come over. Let's meet. Let's talk CFMs. Let's talk low pressure. Let's talk medium pressure, high pressure, negative pressure. How do these regulators help in these kind of precise airflow balancing methods? And we're all about it. It's a lot of it is, there's a there. When you look technically, you're yeah, it's real.
Yeah.
It's not a lot of BS. It's actually real. You get better precision and better balancing and long term, not just short term, but forever, So we love TAB guys. You mentioned engineers.
Yeah.
I don't know how many, Austin, do engineers come to the SMACNA convention?
There's a few, the guy Pat Brooks, SMACNA engineers, people doing the specifications for SMACNA.
Gotcha.
So there's those guys for sure.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And certain folks, but
We certainly talk to engineers as well. What's that process like, Jessica? I mean, I think that's interesting for SMACNA members to a degree.
Yeah, well, when they get the specs on, they need a positive locking regulator.
Yeah.
And they're looking for it and what's in the market.
That's where that came from.
Yeah.
So some engineer somewhere saw the Rossi locking quad, let's say, and was ooh, I want that. I got to specify that. And then boom. Next thing you know, it's on the desk of one of our SMACNA members.
Yeah.
And they're going, oh, okay. let's look at this. Let's really take, like, Tony's been bothering us for a while, but let's actually really take a look at this, because like some engineer just specified it and it came over, over the transom. So we welcome that. I mean, I think that's a cool way.
Yeah.
And there's like specifications for like made in America type things.
Oh, yeah.
Is that something that you try to cater to?
That and the Baba.
Baba.
Buy America,
Build America.
build America. Okay.
It's
got it.
Baba. Baba.
Baba.
Yeah, you got to write Baba. It's like what'd you say? Build America. Build America.
Buy America, Build America.
Buy America, Build America Act.
Yes.
Look, I'm hearing more about this probably this last week than I ever have before. And then the week before that, and like before that, like it's starting to accelerate. So it's working. I think this legislation's working. Like you've had some outreach from people. How's that going?
Absolutely. It's been great. Our products are all made in the US, and what I've gotten feedback from our customer on is when they're putting together a sheet for a job, they need to have Buy America, Build America products.
They have to
somehow
certify that every component on that project, metallic components, non-metallic components, are made in the USA from materials that are sourced in the USA. It's been an amazing thing for us, this BABA Act, because we really have committed ourselves from the beginning to being made in the USA. I feel like we were the only one for a while that, at least in the duct hardware, mass distribution side.
And not cutting corners, and
we're into that, right? I mean,
into being made in America. I mean,
Yeah.
the American story,
Oh, I
the
think
American dream,
oh yeah,
it's all that.
Well, I think. Let's talk about being American. I mean, I wasn't born in this country. I'm a literal immigrant. So for me, this country is literally the promised land. I'm lucky to be here. I was born in the Middle East, born in sort of the heart of Iran, as an Armenian living there, all kinds of backgrounds of war-torn areas. And when I was about 4 years old, I remember my dad, my mom, my sister, everybody jumped in a Jeep and in the middle of the night fled to the airport to take a secret flight out, because the revolution was happening. So that country was going to hell. They were killing people on the streets, blood, and religious fanatics taking over, nothing to be done there. My dad comes here. He's 30 something. He shows up in America. We're so lucky. We got granted asylum by this country. That's why we're here. It's Uncle Sam literally went, yes, to your, pleading for asylum, because you do seem like you're fleeing real problems due to religious persecution. We'll take you. Come on in. Hopefully contribute.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I feel like we've always been raised with that notion of you got to contribute to this thing, because this thing took you in. I'm not born here. I don't necessarily deserve to be here. I'm just lucky to be here. I just feel lucky to be here. And so every single thing we can do, excuse me, as a family to contribute, and as a business now. And now we're scaling it. Now I get to be president. It's been many years, and now I get to think of it on a business level, and how can it scale? How can it help more companies? How can it, grow and be better and bigger, and for a lot of people, for everybody, for the whole industry.
Great value in the industry, yeah.
So for that reason, Austin, even though we've been obviously approached by vendors from China and vendors from, it's every day, every single day. I mean, India, China, we love these countries. We have no problem with these countries. But for us to outsource production there and save a few cents, it's not worth it. I want to do it here. I want American workers. We want American ingenuity. We design everything here, build the tooling here, do the fabrication here, and sell mostly here too. Although we do sell outside the country, but I mean, so we've always sort of really stuck to our guns on the made in the USA thing, we'll absorb a little bit of extra cost. Not a big deal. The stuff's
Yeah.
better. It works better. It's more reliable. And never was that more true than during the pandemic.
Yeah.
When supply chains started to get upset, when it wasn't that easy for our competitors to bring in containers and containers of handles from China. So, we're all about it. And we encourage the SMACNA membership and all our sheet metal shop buddies out there. Take a look at it. Take a look at the hardware and the American craftsmanship. If you're using something else, we get it. But contemplate the switch, and go made in the USA on that, on the hardware, as well as the duct that you're obviously making in the USA yourself. So,
Yeah. Well, I remember a couple of years ago at SMACNA, you kind of had a newer product. It was a prototype, and you had 3D printed it, or 3D printed a handle. It was a prototype. So you're even
yes,
prototyping in the USA.
prototyping, absolutely. I mean, it's so easy to
Yeah.
do here now.
Yeah. Mm.
That kind of is going to touch on a sneak peek, but we're not
Yeah.
going to get too deep into it. But for SMACNA members, just like Austin mentioned, a couple conventions back, we were premiering something. This convention, we have like a sneak peek. We want you guys to be the first to check out the new Rossi product that's coming out. I'm not even going to say what category the product is. It's going to be something where you're going to see it and go, oh yeah, oh I see I see what you guys did there. It's going to be one of those moments, and we love those moments. So come to the booth, see the sneak peek with us. Let's jam on it before it's even hitting the market.
Yeah. We're at booth 232 also.
That's at the product show Tuesday morning.
Yeah.
232.
232.
It's not the biggest convention, but it's funny. It's growing, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, it is.
This
Yeah.
convention's changed dramatically every year for the past few years, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it's been improving ever since COVID and the Hawaii one. So yeah, the last one was very well attended. So
It's
yeah.
a fun one too.
Yeah.
You're gonna have a good time, Jessica.
I got a full schedule.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of meet and greet stuff that's fun, right?
Absolutely.
Like where you just get to hang out with people.
Yeah.
We're looking forward to that.
Well, and do you do a discount for SmackDown members or at the event? Is there anything promotion that you're trying to do?
It's a good question.
Well, I would say we have a special deal for SMACNA members.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
And part of this sneak peek is going to involve SMACNA people out there, a special deal for you, where we can kind of put out our general pricing that we put to the market. And there's always generally quantity-based discounts, full box discounts, and quantity-based 1,000-unit discounts and stuff like that. Austin, it is something we generally do offer. But I think on top of that, Jessica, we're going to do a special deal for SMACNA, particularly when we meet people at the convention and we talk to them and give them the sneak peek. So yes, stay tuned for that as well. Yeah.
You're rewarding the early adopters, I suppose.
Listen, we do. Early adopters, you guys know who you are. You know you're rewarded. You know we love you. I think they feel pretty good. So this is more, I think, this is more sort of like the new people who are, I think, contemplating Rossi. Sometimes I've seen certain sheet metal shops say, hey, I see that I could get 1,000-unit discount when I start buying thousands of regulators and blades and bushings. But I'm kind of looking to just try, or I have a project which some engineer just specified it. Am I at the retail price now? Because I'm not really ready to make the switch. So I think that ties into what we're thinking about when it comes to our friends at SMACNA. Even the new ones is kind of offering a deal for them. So we'll get into it. Well, I think you got to come to the booth.
Come to the booth Tuesday.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else to add, Tony? I think that's a good place to end it.
I do have. I
It's up
want
to you.
to say everybody's hearing this, a week leading up to the show, right? A week leading up to the convention.
Yeah.
we've got we're going to be at some events, and we're going to come. We're just looking forward to meeting people and hanging out and having a beer, right?
Yeah.
The Monday, there's a launch party. Or sorry, Sunday.
Sunday's party.
What time is that one at? 6-ish, I want to say. There's like a launch party Sunday. Come say hi. I think everybody's got name tags, right?
Yeah, because there's registration before that.
Cool. We're all going to be
Yeah.
name tagged up. Jessica's there. I'm there. My dad's going to make a little special appearance at some point, being the celebrity engineer designer that he's turned into, and that's going to be fun. Linda's going to be there from the company. A lot of you guys deal with Linda on a daily basis. You guys are talking to Linda, you're emailing Linda, you're getting your orders, confirmed by her. She's handling a lot of the fulfillment side, and so she doesn't always come to the show, but this year here it's nearby in Desert Springs, and she's coming out. She's going to say hi. So I really wanted to mention, let's get together, let's hang out. We got that Sunday launch party. Monday night, our really good buddy Mike Graham at Stamped Fittings is sponsoring an amazing party. This is going to be like the first time on a SMACNA Monday night, I believe, that we're doing this massive party. We're not doing it. I'm just there to support. I'll be at the bar. Jessica will be working, I think.
I'll be there.
No, you'll be at the bar. We'll be there hanging out. Shout out to Mike. Shout out to Stamped and Stamped Fittings. And that's going to be an awesome party. And then here's the bad news. The very next morning,
Bright and early.
w-
Product show.
we're going to be at our booth. I'm going to have bags under my eyes
If we did it right.
if we did it right. And we'll have some stuff to talk about, some new stuff coming down the pipe.
We'll have that
So,
sneak peek for you
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah.
what else? Anything else we want to touch on? I feel like we covered a lot. It's really fun having these kinds of conversations, Austin, with you about this stuff. We could talk forever.
Yeah, no, I always like talking with you, Tony. And, I think people will be fine coming to the morning product show. They'll just be tired, but there's coffee and,
There's
You're offering-
coffee.
you're-
There's an amazing breakfast.
yeah,
There's an incredible breakfast. Is it a brunch? I think it's a brunch.
yeah, yeah. They treat you right there.
Oh,
So,
it's always a good time. It's always a good time. The weather should be amazing too.
I bet.
So yeah, it's going to be a blast. And we're coming
And
like
for-
fully armed,
I-
armed with stuff to show.
and for anyone who's not at SMACNA, who's maybe watching this after the fact, who should they reach out to? They're a SMACNA member, but you're talking about promotion. Like, what's the next step for them? They weren't able to show up. What should they do?
Gotcha. What's their first step?
Come to our website. You can give us an email. Or come to our website.
Come there.
Phone number's on there.
Phone number's there. Call in. Ask for Jessica. Ask for Tony. Ask for Linda. Ask for me if you want to talk about the products. Most often, Austin, they'll come to the website. They'll be quickly guided to a place where they can sign up for free samples. And as soon as they do that, it comes in through the office. We look at the company and we kind of like try to find all the right fits to make sure it's going to the right place to the right person. Send out a samples box. So they'll get that. And they'll have every Rossi component in front of them, as well as like an example sleeve, like a fully assembled version, which would be what they would be making in-house mostly, but or they could purchase those. So many purchase them from GSI now and Stamped Fittings and like mine and so many companies. But MacArthur and so many distributors as well. But like when they're doing it, they'll get the samples box, which will show them everything they need to implement it into their process, their sheet metal fabrication process. So that would probably be a good first step, is get a samples box and let's talk. You'll hear from either Jess or myself about how do we add value and what are the benefits to you and how cost effective is it? Because it's pretty cost effective.
No, I can't wait to learn more at SMACNA. Looking forward to it and appreciate both your time.
Awesome. Thank you for this. Thanks everybody out there. We're looking forward to partying with you for a few days.
Yeah, see you guys at the show.
I'm going to leave my liver there.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Austin. Catch you later.
Yep.
Thanks, everybody. That was fun.
Yeah, maybe delete my Baba blabber.
What?
I
You
didn't
s-
feel like that was smooth enough. I was trying to think of the word submittal, and I was like, "Ruh."
Do not delete her.
You
What?
can edit it or you can delete it. I have no feelings, so it's great.
You
He
want
has no liver. I have no feelings.